Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. My name is Rachel if you are new here, and I do lots of videos on lifestyle, books, all kinds of things over here on this channel. But today we are doing a book tag video, which I'm so excited about. I can't wait to talk about all book related things. So if that is something that interests you, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe. I post every Tuesday and Friday. And I'm doing Vlogmas this year. So there's lots of fun, exciting vlogs mixed in with some bookish content, all the things. I'm so excited. So make sure you subscribe so you never miss a video, and let's get into the book tag. All right, so I found this book tag on Akeda Book and Cup of Tea.wordpress.com. Oh, it's a cat. Sorry, when it like the website is all pushed together, it looks. Anyway, it's a cat, a book, and a cup of tea. That makes so much more sense. Anyway, so that's where I found this book tag. I don't know who started it first, but this is where I found it. So let's get into it. Question number one, how many books are too many books in a series? I am not a huge series reader. I mean, there's a couple of series that I read and follow along with, but I typically read a lot of like standalone single books. But I would say probably my limit would be like 10. If there's like more than 10, that's probably too many. Honestly, I feel like if there's more than 3 or 4, that's a lot. But I know that there are some really popular series that have more than 4. But I feel like that's probably my max. But we will see. Haven't started ACOTAR, and I know that one has several. So we'll see if I change my thought on that. But I think for me, more than like 4 or 5 would be a lot, but I definitely think more than 10 is like, what are you doing? How do you feel about cliffhangers? I love them, but I also hate them because, you know, it's like, oh my goodness, I need the next book right now. So I guess if the next book is already out, I'm like, okay, but if it's like you have to wait a year, it's like torture, you know? So it just kind of depends on the situation. I like them, but I also don't like them. It's very, you know, mixed feelings on that. Question number 3, hardback or paperback? I personally love paperback because I just feel like holding it's a lot easier, but hardcover is just better looking, I feel like, and your book stays nicer. So I kind of have a mix of paperback and hardcover. So I'm not like too picky, I would say. Like I would get a book if it has a hardcover, but I prefer when reading it for it to be a paperback. Favorite book. So I recently just got back into reading this year, and I've been reading a lot of books. And so I don't know that I have like a favorite of all time book, but I do have a favorite from this year. So hang on, let me get it. So my favorite book that I've read so far this year, I've read about 44 books this year. And my favorite one this year has been The Only One Left by Riley Sager. This one was just mind-blowing, and I have not found another book since I read this that even comes close to it. I read this, I think at the end of September, beginning of October, and nothing compares. Like nothing else I've read this year compares. I love this book, and it was so good. I highly recommend if you like spooky, mysterious thriller vibes, this one. This one is really good. I really enjoyed this one. I enjoyed the twist, didn't see it coming. This has been my favorite book so far this year. I don't know that I have a favorite book of all time. So if that changes, I will update the videos, obviously. I will update the vlog channel. But for right now, I'm gonna say that one's my favorite so far I've read this year, but I don't know that I have like an all-time favorite book. Number 5, my least favorite book. So my least favorite book that I've read this year, there's 2. There's 2 that I didn't DNF them, but seriously thought about it. The first one is All the Colors of the Dark. I think this would have been a really great story, but it's so long, and it was like 300 pages too long for me. And so because of that, I just felt like I didn't care. Like at the end, I'm like, I don't care about these characters. I don't care. I'm just ready for this to be over. So I feel like this one may have been my least favorite read of the year. But I'm currently listening to Fourth Wing on audio, and I've not really been loving that one as much. It's finally starting to get interesting, and I'm about 80% of the way through. So I don't know if it's just like because you have to set up this series, if it was just slower in the beginning, or if I'm just not a big fantasy person. I don't know. but I just haven't been enjoying it as much, though I'm still going to finish, and I may or may not read Iron Flame. I did put it on hold with my library just in case it ends with a cliffhanger and I'm like, I have to know what happens, but it's just not been my favorite so far. And I know that's like, everybody loves Fourth Wing, but I don't know. Let me know if you've read it. Like, was it slow to start? Did it take a while to get into? Or did you just not like it? Or did you absolutely love it from the beginning? Let me know. Question number 6, love triangles, yes or no? I love a good love triangle. I'm a sucker for a love triangle. I love love triangles in TV shows, and I love them in books. However, I like usually have one, I mean, obviously people have like the one couple that they're cheering for, right? And I like it when it goes my way, and when it doesn't, I'm like, ugh. So, you know, there's that, which I feel like everybody's kind of like that. But I do like a good love triangle. It does, you know, spice things up a bit when you've got these two characters that you have to choose between. I like it. I enjoy it. It's fun. Number 7, the most recent book that you couldn't finish. So I have yet to DNF a book this year. I have not DNF'd any books this year. However, the one that I would have DNF'd had I not been listening to it on audio and had it not been the book club book of the month would have been this one. Like, would have been All the Colors of the Dark. It was so long and it was so jumpy around from different points of views and different timelines that it was just like hard sometimes to follow, and it just didn't hold my interest. So I probably would never reread this book, and I really, really thought about DNFing that one. Number 8, books that I'm currently reading. So I have 2 that I'm listening to on audio. I usually do a lot of like reading physical books or reading on my Kindle. And I read a couple on my Kindle yesterday. They were little novellas, but I'm currently not reading a novel on my Kindle. I'm actually listening to 2 audiobooks, and I'm hoping to finish one of them today. So one of them is Fourth Wing, which, like I said, I'm starting to get into it, but it's just not been my favorite thing so far, but I'm almost done with it, and I'm hoping to wrap it up today. And the other one is The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose, and I'm really enjoying that one. I think it's like what's gonna happen, edge of my seat, thriller. I love thriller mystery books. That is my favorite type of book. So I'm all about a good thriller, which is why I feel like Fourth Wing just isn't doing it for me, because I need it to be mystery thriller and not fantasy, but maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Number 9, the last book I recommended to somebody. I think the last book, well, I don't know, because I feel like I come on here and I talk about a lot of books, but the one that I'm like super passionate about that like you need to go read would be The Only One Left. Like, I feel like this is the last one that I was really like, you need to read this, you need to read this. I could be wrong on that, but I feel like that one is definitely the one that I'm most passionate about. Like, if you enjoy reading mystery thrillers, just do it. Just do it. Question number 10, the oldest book you've read, like publication date wise. I have no idea. I guess I'm gonna say the Bible because that's probably the oldest, and I read that most days. I'm not perfect at reading that, but I would say that's probably the oldest one that I can think of that I've read. Question number 11, the newest book that you have read. That would be Frida McFadden's The Boyfriend. This is like my most recent, like this came out and I got this the day it came out, and I read it the day that it came out. It came out on October 1st. I think everything I've read after that has been around for a little while, but this one was like the newest one. And so, yeah. Question number 12, favorite author. So I really love Frida McFadden. I love her writing style. I know a lot of people don't, but I like how simple it is, and it's just easy to kind of binge read her books. I really love Nicholas Sparks, but I don't read a lot of his books anymore just because I feel like with every book, it's like, it's an emotional, you know, roller coaster. And a lot of times it deals with like the death of a character, and it gets super, you like feel something. And I struggle with those types of books because I really have a lot of OCD and anxiety, and sometimes those books can trigger something. So I don't typically read a lot of his books anymore, but before I got really back into reading, he was like the only author that I was reading because I just really like his writing style, and I do love his books. They are really good, but I'm also so triggered by like death in books that I'm not triggered if it's like a murder mystery. I feel like for some reason I can separate that in my mind, but when it's like supposed to be this love story and there's like you know, that going on. It just, you know, it does what it's supposed to. I mean, that's obviously what he wanted to happen writing the book, right? For you to feel this such a strong emotion, but I struggle with that, so I have to read his books every now and then if I'm in a good place with my anxiety and OCD, but sometimes I just can't handle it, so I don't read a lot of his books anymore. But I really do love him as an author and I love his books. I just, you know, I can't. It hurts my heart a little bit. So I have to stick with like my murder mystery stuff because that for some reason doesn't bother me. I don't know. Question number 13, buying or borrowing books. I am a little bit of a collector. I like to collect books. Whatever I'm into right then, I like to just collect everything. So I personally enjoy buying books, but I did get a library card for like the first time in my life. And I have mainly been borrowing the audio books online. I have yet to actually go pick up a physical book from the library, but maybe that's on my list of things to do next year. I don't know. But I definitely love buying the books. However, I think I kind of want to get into like, I only want to buy the book if I enjoy the book, because I don't want books I don't like, if you know. So I don't know. There's pros and cons to each, but I prefer buying books. Question number 14, a book that you dislike that everybody seems to like. So like I said, I have been listening to Fourth Wing. I'm just not understanding the hype with that book. So I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it's just not been my favorite thing so far. That could change. I still have like 20% of the book left, but as of right now, I'm gonna say it is something that everybody loves that I just don't understand the hype to it. Question number 15, bookmarks or dog ears. So I used to be a big dog ear, you know, fold the thing to mark my page in a book, and now I started making bookmarks. If you guys don't know, shameless plug here, like I have a small business. I make vinyl stickers, I make planner stickers, I make coffee mugs, t-shirts, sweatshirts, tote bags, magnetic bookmarks. I'm always adding new things to the shop, and currently we have a big Black Friday thing going on. So I will list the Black Friday deals that are going on in my shop and where you can find all those things. But since I started making bookmarks, I've just been using my bookmarks, which I love because then I'm not bending the pages of my book. But I definitely, before I got really back into reading, I was definitely just like dog ear and go. But now I'm like, I don't want to mess up my book. So I like bookmarks now. Question number 16 is a book you can always reread. I don't reread a lot of books. Some of the books that I have read multiple times would be The Lucky One by Nicholas Sparks and Safe Haven by Nicholas Sparks. I don't know why. These two I just can reread again and again. I think that they are written really well. I do really love Nicholas Sparks, even though they hurt your heartstrings, you know. But also I feel like these two don't have any deaths that made me feel so sad. So I feel like these are easier to reread out of his books, because there are some where it just like, it just rips your heart out and you can't deal with it. You can't deal with it. And so these two, I feel like I can always reread because I don't feel that way. But I have read them several times. Like the spine is kind of cracked here, but I just really love these two books. I think Safe Haven's probably my favorite, but I do really enjoy The Lucky One. So yeah. Those are books that I feel like I can reread. Question number 17, can you read while listening to music? So I actually tested this the other day. I have been doing a Twilight reread. I have all the Twilight books right here. And I was finishing up Twilight and I was like, let me put on some Twilight music to set the vibes. It was really nice. That's the only time I've ever attempted to do that. So I don't know if I could read a book while listening to music with words, but listening to just like, you know, instrumental music, it was setting the vibes for Twilight. I still have to like conquer the rest of this books on this reread. I found that like, while I did enjoy my reread of Twilight, I also was not as motivated to read because I was like, I already know what happens. So I don't know that Twilight is one that I can reread a lot. Question number 18, one point of view or multiple point of views? I really think it depends on the book and it depends on how the author does it. I really love just one point of view, but I also really like multiple point of view. It just kind of depends. Frida McFadden oftentimes has multiple points of view and I like that. But her book Do Not Disturb had way too many points of views for me and I thought it was way too all over the place. So I did not not enjoy that one as much, but most of the time I do enjoy multiple points of view, but it depends on how it's done. Like, it depends on if it's done well or not. Question number 19, do you read a book in one sitting or over multiple days? Again, it depends on the book. There's been a couple of novellas that I've read in one sitting, but they were obviously like 50 pages or so. But there's only been 2 like full books that I've ever sat down and just read in one sitting. One of them was The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. The day this came out, I sat here and I read the entire book. The other book is also a Frida McFadden book, and it was my first Frida McFadden book that I read, and this is Never Lie. I read this on a flight to Phoenix back in May, and I read the whole thing on the flight to Phoenix. So that was nice because I was able to sidetrack myself from being anxious about flying and throw myself into a book, and I read the whole thing. So yeah, it really depends. Frida McFadden, I feel like, is an author that, you know, I could just sit down and read an entire book in one day, but most of the time I'm busy and I can't just sit for like several hours at a time and read. So most of the time I read stuff over the course of a couple days. Usually Frida McFadden I will read within 2 days. Other books I'll read within 3 days, and then there are some that it takes me a little bit longer because maybe I'm not as interested or invested in the book. So, you know, or it's just really, really long. Like this one took me all week to listen to on audio because it was so long. Why was it so long? Question number 20, who do you tag? So I tag all of you watching this. If you are a book lover like me, I tag you. Please like tag me in the comments of the video. You can just like tag my username because I would love to watch your videos and support you guys. So definitely tag me. If you create videos, if you create this tag me so that way I can see it. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my channel and just joining me on this reading journey. I have loved it so much. I do have one question for you guys, okay? One question, please answer it in the comments below. What is your most anticipated release of 2025? Let me know in the comments below. I have a couple. I'm very excited about The Crash by Frida McFadden that comes out in January 28th maybe. I don't know. I'm so excited. I'm gonna get it the day it comes out. I'm also super excited for the next Abby Jimenez, I think is how you say her last name. I think it's Say You'll Remember Me is the name of it. So I'm very excited for that one. I'm also excited for the new Emily Henry book. Oh, and I'm excited for the next book in the Apprentice to the Villain series. So yeah, there's a couple. There's probably a lot more, but I feel like my most anticipated one is probably The Crash by Frida McFadden. Anything she writes, I'm like so excited to read. Even though I don't love all of her books sometimes, I feel like they are just kind of fun to read. So I'm very excited for that. That's probably my most anticipated read so far, but we will see. I mean, honestly, I think I'm just excited. I'm just excited for all the new books in 2025. But if there's something that is releasing that you're super excited about, put it in the comments below because maybe I need to read it, you know, like let me know. Is there something out there I need to read? Let me know. But anyway, that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye guys.